Alright, so starting off with the 4-6 on the field. Fortunately I have Bright Steel, since that can be completely wasted on him not having any offensive creatures, since he played a Swift one. So yeah, I think the best bet here is to let the Bright Steel block the Mystic so that it survives. Of course, the Forge Blade survives as well next turn. So I think I'm going to do that instead. Let the Forge Blade block the Mystic, and throw a Bright Steel over here. Not what I wanted to see. Because now I have to play Sparkbot, which survives, so that's not a bad deal. Having things that survive is definitely a really big plus against the Tempys deck. And the Flamestoke's definitely going to die. The only way to do that is tech upgrading the Sentinel. So. Upgraded Flame Blade. So going to be obnoxious to deal with. But here, I definitely want to kill off the Mystic again, so I'm going to play the General in this Forge Blade. Could have also done the Steel Shaper, which would have been, it would have been alright, but I think the 9/9 Armor 3 is more important than player level 2. So, can I save the Sentry? If I double tech upgrade it, the Sentry survives with 2 health, which isn't useful. So I'm just gonna let that go. I could also Matrix Ward in it and tech upgrade it. And granted, that's a better option since I could Matrix Ward in lane 1. And he'll survive Firestorm or Magma Hound anyway. Alright, he doesn't have any Magma Hounds in this version, but it'll survive Firestorm. And then I can tech upgrade the Sentry, and that will survive. With Armor 2, Health 6. So that would put him at 3 health and 8 attack. And honestly, I think that's the best way to go against the Tempys deck. Well, yeah. The other options to tech upgrade the Warden, but that's definitely not as useful. As having a 5/1 Armor 1 is definitely not as useful as, well, this. And then I guess it's player level 2, so it's bound to get a good draw there, but still a bit obnoxious. I'm a little bit scared of whatever he can put into lane 2, so I'm tempted to block there. Of course, he could always put something like a Wind Primordial or something of that nature. I definitely don't want to play Technosmith to block the champion, because if I do that, the Firestorm would be able to kill that, and that would wreak havoc on my creatures. So I can Sparkbot against the champion, or Sparkbot against the unknown spot in spot 2, which I'm going to throw the Sparkbot here, and allow General or Sparkbot to trade with the champion. And General. General actually survives anyway. General is better level either way, so either way it's the best card to play. Very glad I blocked right where I did with the Sparkbot. It would have been very unfortunate had he played the Flamestoke lane 2, given it haste, played the Wind Primordial lane 1, given that haste, and then I have some serious problems. So, glad with what I did. Now I can also block off the other lane that he has with his other Flamestoke with the Sparkbot, and kill off this Flamestoke. I could tech upgrade here. Actually, probably will. blocking the wind primordial is pretty useless, so I'm not really concerned with like throwing something at it after the general dies. So I think I'm going to play the tech upgrade on the spark bot, just to make sure anything he puts there just cannot deal with it. I don't want a really big Cinder Fist hitting me in the face if he decides to like Uranti Bolt spark bot or something stupid. Granted, the Uranti Bolt would only do 9 damage if you have a level 2 one. And then you can do that. But that's fine. Let's see, I'm going to... Wow, this is actually a pretty good situation for me. I can Munitions Drone lane 3 to kill off the Wind Primordial and Bright Steel lane 1. Both his creatures will die and none of mine will take damage. Alternatively, I could level up the Warden in lane 3 and buff up the Spark Bot a little bit more. Or I can tech upgrade the Spark Bot, which is also really tempting. However, if the Spark Bot was a War Charger, I'd probably do that. Because I can move it, not only could I move it to lane 1 to deal with the Flame Stoke, I could also deal with other creatures later. But with the Tempys deck, the Tempys isn't really concerned with how much damage I'm doing him. He could just ignore my Spark Bot. So getting more stuff on the field is probably a lot better than getting a really good something on the field. Against new Terra deck or the Alloyin deck, with the Alloyin, when you're playing as Alloyin, it's much better to try to focus on getting something that is just unkillable against them. Wow, he really spending a lot of Uranti bolts on that Spark Bot. And I don't... Well, I could keep him alive with Sonic Pulse. Question is it worth it? He would be a 12-3 going into player level 3. That's not awful. 12-3 armor 2. He dies to any Uranti bolts without chasing an entire another card. Actually, he doesn't even die to the Rift Lasher currently. Wow. Yeah, I'm definitely not going to mess with that. So I'm going to go ahead and put the Forge Plate down. And I'm going to start working on making the Forge Plate a monster. So... going into player level 3, having a unkillable Forge Plate. I mean, I just said that's not as good to do against Tempys because filling the lanes is better, but I already have the lanes filled, so I'm definitely not concerned about that. Now that is something I don't want to see. I am definitely killing that Flame Stoke. Best way to do that is to just buff him with Spark Bot. I do not want to see something like a Cinder Fist 3 hitting me next turn. So we'll tech upgrade the Sentry some more. Go to combat and drop another beefy body. Yeah, and at this point, this is probably game. The Tempys should not be able to come back from this. Yes, had that Flame Stoke not died. Flame Blade 3 is much worse than Cinder Fist 3 at the moment, actually. That would pretty much wipe my board. So I'm glad I killed off the Flame Stoke. And let's see, he's taking 23-25 damage currently. I can't quite kill him, regardless of what I do. So I might as well kill off this Cinder Fist. And drop a Bright Steel. So that my Spark Bot does not take damage. And at this point, yeah, I'm just gonna overwrite him just in case something fancy happens, which I don't think's possible, but there's nothing he can do to take care of 3 lanes. So starting forward.